Delegate Griffith is coming in.
Okay. There's the YouTube.
Good morning, Delegate Griffith. Delegate Griffith is coming in.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I got the came up a little different this time. So hopefully the YouTube's off. Anybody hear any echoes or no Russians or anything, right? Okay. All righty. Welcome. Delegate Teresa Riley, Chair of Harford County Delegation. This is our morning weekly delegation meeting, March the 2nd. And we're going to start our agenda off. Unlike I did last week, try to get through too fast. So if I could ask, how about Delegate Griffith, could you do the prayer?
Absolutely. Please bow your heads. Father God, thank you for this opportunity to serve. Please continue to give us the wisdom and discernment to navigate the Maryland legislature and to be able to be the best stewards of our roles and responsibilities and to be able to represent our constituents in the most admirable way possible. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And Delegate, I guess, A. Johnson, could you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Delegate Johnson. Okay, so we're going to move through the agenda. We have should be a real quick meeting. We have the old business. But first, we have Delegate McComas that's kind of in the background. She's actually doing two things at one time. So she's multitasking. Thank you, Delegate McComas. So she's in appropriations meeting, but she has this on mute. And when we vote, she'll be able to raise her hand. So could I ask Delegate Arcan, could you make the motion for Delegate McComas for the minutes?
Move the minutes.
Okay, so do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Delegate A. Johnson, second in the minutes. Any discussion about last week's minutes? Seeing none, everyone by a voice, aye, if you approve. Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, the minutes have been approved. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to House Bill, which is one of our liquor bills. House Bill 1063 from Harford County Alcoholic Beverages Class HC Health Club license. It went, the Senate had their hearing, I believe on Friday, and they have put an amendment on the bill that we had the hearing on over here last week. So the amendment has been mailed to you. The rewrite has been mailed to you or sent to you. And then also take notice, we also have, the liquor board is now, supporting that bill as amended. So that's a good thing. And we have couple business owners that have sent us a letter of support as well. So hopefully you had the chance to look at all of that. All right. So I'm going to walk through the amendments. Then I believe we have Mike Krabs on here. He'll confirm what I've said and add if anything that I've missed. But basically the easiest thing is to actually walk through the bill if you have the bill in front of you. So on page 2, basically lines 13 and 15, they just removed the liquor. So it's the license is only good for the sale of beer and wine. Going on down to line 20, there's a comma, and basically they're adding the facility has to offer, the health club facility has to offer an indoor and or outdoor pools, I guess, and pickleball courts. Okay, so that's actually written into the bill. Again, all the places where there was liquor that was removed. And also for the 6-day license, it has to be done in the areas in paragraph E, which I'll explain in a second. Same thing, it can only be served in areas of section E. What else? Oh, they changed also the time frame. So the time frame, we're on page 3. We originally had really no time limit, just the opening of the business, but now it's only, they can only sell beer and wine from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's one of the amendments. Then we have where section E is, which I'll explain in a second. Okay, and then we get to the last. So section E is beer and wine shall be sold only at the designated bar areas by the indoor lounge area limited to 21 years of age or older and or the swimming pools. F, the license holder is required to sell prepackaged food and or snacks. That's also in there. And then also they've added the subject to the awareness training requirements. So those are the amendments. I will actually go to Mr. Krabs first if he wants to follow up, and then we'll go to questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, delegation. You were accurate in your description going through the bill, and based on the amendments that were submitted, the Harford County Liquor Control Board has sent a letter of support for the bill as amended. And I'll be more than happy to take any additional questions that come up.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Krabs. I see Delegate S. Johnson with question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now, are they subject to the rule of they have to buy from a wholesaler?
I believe that was already currently in the bill.
I was looking for
Yeah, Charity or Mike, Bill, do you know that?
Charity, you're muted.
I don't see it in the bill.
I didn't see it either.
I know that we've had that requirement in other bills, but
Right.
I don't recall it for this one.
Yeah, because that's one that we had to amend on the other two businesses and the licenses.
By law, aren't they required to? Charity, do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to dig into it.
Okay, we'll verify that when I guess we'll have to take this letter down to ECM and we'll inquire.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. And Delegate Arkan.
So I'm just wondering for the actual health clubs that wanted this, what's the reasoning behind the pickleball, and who does the pickleball court now exclude? Is there somebody that doesn't have a pickleball court? Why would we put pickleball court in there?
Good. That's an excellent question. This amendment, as I said, was from the senators. We were not privy to that discussion. So maybe Mr. Krabs, I guess, once you receive the amendments, I'm assuming you spoke with the senators. Can you answer that question for us?
Pickleball, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Pickleball is an up and coming sport. So there was some discussion on the Senate side as to adding that. A couple of the senators were in the Finance Committee were not familiar with it, but after being enlightened as to what pickleball was, it's more like a quick game of tennis. It's on a shortened court, and it can be played individually or with teams. It's actually taking off nationwide, and there are tournaments, there's championship. I mean, there's all kind of things on that. So I think that pickleball has become increasingly popular, and I believe that it was added just to include that area. The concern again we had is to make sure that the areas for pickleball were at the time of alcohol service, that just like any other area they're going to serve alcohol, is to make sure that they control the service of the alcohol to those underage. And we were assured that, of course.
Okay, so you don't have to have a pickleball in your facility to get this license. That was my worry. They don't, this is just including that as a space where you're permitted to sell. It's not saying if you don't have a pickleball court, because yeah, I'm familiar with pickleball. I just didn't understand why we had that as a factor, but it's just so they can sell in that area, not to say that people with no pickleball can't sell. Is that right?
Yeah, I was under the impression that they had to have both facilities, both areas to be able to get this liquor license.
Okay, yeah, that's what
Not-
Charity's saying. That's,
Yes.
okay, that just seems utterly bizarre to me. I mean, if the delegation wants to move it like this, that's fine, but I just want to let the record reflect. That is totally illogical to me, and it feels very much like we're specifically cutting somebody. I don't know who it is. I don't know what the goal is, but it feels like we're picking winners and losers to me. Maybe it's not. Maybe everybody has a pickleball court in Harford County. I don't know. I don't play pickleball because I'm not a 60-year-old man, but I'm just saying this is very disturbing to me because it feels like we're picking winners and losers right now. And I can't stand our county doing that kind of stuff. I just want to see everybody succeed.
Yes,
It's just-
delegate Arcan, yeah, that's actually on page 2, 19 through 20, and it is, it says, provided the health club service facilities offers indoor and or outdoor pools and pickleball courts, so they have to have both.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
To get the
Yeah.
license.
I mean, you guys tell me, I'll vote for the bill, but this is just one more silly thing. It feels like that we're doing to businesses. They're going to make them despise us and not want to be in our community. So that's my thoughts.
I feel your pain. Okay, Delegate Griffith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I don't believe the intent of the bill is a requirement to have one or the other or both. I believe the intent of the bill is if you are a athletic club or a gym, the only places you can sell is one of those areas if you have one of those two areas in your facility. So I do not believe the intent of the bill is saying you must have both to be able to sell. You must have one or the other to be able to sell, obviously. So if there's a way to clean a language up to make sure it's the intent of the bill, but I do not believe it's trying to, pigeonhole in that way.
From what I received from the senators, they intentionally put in the bill, they have to have both. So that I'm sorry that one of the senators or the senators that came up with this is not on this call. But if you want to hold off and not vote, that's fine. And we can verify that with the senators. We can do that.
I think
it's just a
I vote we
suggestion.
move it. Let's move it and we can talk to them. I'm texting them now, but let's just move. I don't want to delay this.
Okay,
But
all right.
this is-
Okay, I see Delegate McComas. Want to get her in when she can talk. Delegate McComas, you're on. Unmute. Delegate, yeah, you have to unmute yourself. All right.
All right.
Okay.
The thing, the thing is, I think nobody wants to say I'm an athletic club and put up my shingle, and it's just I'll use an example, and I hate to do it, but one of our one of our great gentlemen who lived out in probably 35 had a little shed, and people would go to his house and they would lift weights. And that was our poet laureate. And he did a great job, helped a lot of folks with weightlifting and provided a good mentorship and everything. But the point is he, it wasn't a club where he should be offering alcohol and stuff, and he didn't do that. And so I think we just don't want to have somebody just put up a sign, I'm an athletic club, and be able to sell beer and wine, because they're not, they're not kind of, you just don't want anybody to put up a shingle without really being a club. And so that's why you're requiring a pool or a pickleball court. So that's my thoughts. And I just wanted to say that. So.
All right, thank you, Delegate McComas. Then I'm not sure which one of the Johnsons were first, but it looks like maybe Delegate Andre Johnson was before. Yep, unmute yourself, please. I know.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I take Delegate Griffin's, his statement, but I think that I think that the legislation should be very specific so that people understand what exactly is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And I think that, based off of what Delegate Archon is saying, I think that, I'm on board with what she's saying, because I do know that if the language is ambiguous, then it tends to leave people to their own interpretations. So I completely agree with her.
Okay, all righty, thank you. And Delegate Steve Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm going to have to pile on with Delegate Archon. When we start making laws, I want them to be specific. However, I don't want it to be specific just for one business. I want to make sure that other folks, we can have competition in our county, we can grow businesses in our county, create jobs. And I just think we get too specific where it addresses one business and cuts everybody else out. And I don't think that's really what we should be doing here. So if it takes asking the senators for clarity on that, what's the latest we can vote on this?
ECM will probably be voting soon on our liquor bill. So we've got to get this amendment to it. So because they'll see that they're different. So we need to vote and, get our letter of support on the amendments or what have you. I mean, we can always, due to time, we can always, pull you off the floor, for an emergency quickly and to vote on it after we speak with the senators. But that's.
I would rather do that than cut any other business out of the picture.
Yeah, the way that it says beer and wine, can only be designated in the bar areas by the indoor lounge. So there's one bar area in the indoor lounge, but then, 21, and then it says, you can take it to those swimming pool areas and the pickleball areas. But I think where we're at, which we like, correct? That's what I'm hearing. We just don't want to be subject to one or two businesses. We want it to actually suffice for all health clubs in Harford County, and they may or may not have a pickleball court. So is that what I'm hearing?
That's the way I feel, yes.
Okay. All right. Mike, do you have any, or Delegate Griffith first before I go to Mr. Krebs?
No, just to clarify. I'm sorry, just to clarify my statement. So I do support what Delegate Archon was talking about. I was referring to what I believe the intent of the bill is, but obviously I support the rest of the delegation, making sure the language is clear, that it's not to prevent other folks from being able to access it. So I definitely support clearing the language up. I just want to be clear on that.
Well, it's good that we, go ahead and clear it up now, I think, because we definitely don't want it to get, stuck in conference call. So we'll see if we can't quickly get to the senators and verify this information to see if they'll take our minor amendment. And then, so Mr. Krebs, do you have any comments in, listening to our conversation? Are you available to be able to answer the questions, whether we would still get the support of the liquor board commissioners if we would, make this minor change?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I believe so, and I agree with Delegate Griffith. I'm not sure that the senator's intent were to limit, and it's similar to what the quota bill was, where we changed and took out an N and added an or, and I think that's the simple thing that would fix it. And I believe, based on conversations with the commissioners, that they would still be in support of that with that simple change. And I agree with all the comments of all the other delegates of not limiting it, that you have to have a pickleball court. That to me didn't make sense either. So thank you.
Okay, but that's how you understand it as it's currently written, as well as Charity does, and I do. So, okay. All right. So now the question is to Charity. Did you understand the conversation and figure out where we have to amend the bill so that we can ask the senators? Are you clear on that?
Yes, it's just a matter of, it's like Mr. Krebs said, you just change it to or, so they're not required to have both pickleball and swimming pools.
Correct.
It's a
Okay.
simple change.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we all understand what we want going forward. So now I need a motion, whether we're going to vote now, then try to change it, or talk to the senators and then hold off and then call you off the floor for a vote. So someone make a motion one way or the other, please.
I make a motion that we get with the senators now and then try to fix this now. If we have to come off the floor and make a vote, we do it that way.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so we have Delegate Steve Johnson made the motion. Did you get all that, Cindy?
Yes.
Okay, can you repeat the motion so we know that we're clear?
The
Okay.
motion was.
No, for Cindy, I'm sorry,
Cindy.
Delegate. Yes, Cindy.
The motion was to have a conference with the senators to work out the intent of the bill.
Okay, probably the motion should more say, the motion is the bill to hold the bill at this time to meet with the senators to talk about our amendment to clarify the bill
Yes, changing the and to or.
yep, specifically.
Second.
Okay, and we have a second from Delegate
Second.
McCombs. Okay, gotcha. Okay, and I think we could do this by a voice vote. Everybody that agrees with the amendments, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Seeing none, the motion has been passed. So I will take this information to the senators. And as soon as Charity gives me the amendment, we'll set that up and then, or I just take the bill and circle where it's going to be if it's not ready. And then we can do something, hopefully, maybe by tomorrow. So if any of you can make a separate phone calls, that's fine as well, but I'll try my best to get to them as soon as possible. Okay, so we have that. And then I just want to mention next week, possibly, the only thing we're waiting on now, and then our delegation meetings will no longer be needed, is to go over the CTP, the county CTP, which is the road projects for MDOT and SHA. So hopefully we'll have that next week to go through that. The county executive is finishing the, I guess, last minutes on that. And there's a lot for them to print to get to us. And let's see, I think that's it. And I see a question from Delegate Steve Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since we've got a day here, can the liquor board check to see if they're required to buy from a wholesaler? I think they are, but we want to definitely make sure they know that and it's clear on the bill.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll take care of that. Thank you.
Okay. And then again, Charity, you would have to follow up if it's needed in the bill. I guess we would have to put that in there as well. So if you could follow up with that as well.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Delegate Johnson. Okay, I think we're finished. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, second? Yay. All righty. Thank you all. See you on the floor.